Cassidy Sinatra's Corner here with, I want to say it correctly now, what is it? Layan Bubbly.
The right way is layan, bubbly.
Layan, oh, that's like French or.
That's Palestinian, actually, Middle Eastern.
So your background is like mixed, but born in
I'm born in Jerusalem, lived under occupation for the first 8 years of my life,
okay.
trying to struggle with war, and then lived in Paris, France, the city of love, for 10. Then went to Toronto, and now relocating to Jordan,
Wow,
everywhere.
it's all over the place. Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I wanted you on this podcast to get a female's perspective on the whole dating scene. It can be very messy now, how all these dating apps, Tinder, the Bumble, and everything. So, wanted to hear your thoughts on this and certain things that guys could do to not be like all the other ones, to make themselves a little different.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's talk. Get the questions started.
All right, first one. How did you get involved in this whole dating scene? Like you being like someone that helps you help guys and women or just guys? Both.
I help men and women basically reach a personal space in their mindset where they are comfortable with who they are. There's some self-love, there's some confidence, and there's a necessity, which I think is important, and the desire to always become their best version and accomplish their goals. So I'm more of a life coach, if anything at all, but everything is interconnected in our world. And so I'm also a dating and relationship coach in that sense. Now, how did I get into this building? I'm going to make a very long story very short for you and shoot it straight to the heart,
All right.
which is when I was 18, never loved anybody, never did anything with anyone, so innocent. Fell in love with this guy. I was in Paris, France. He was in Madrid, Spain, and I went to Spain to celebrate my 18th birthday. And, we all have that one person that we just see and we fall in love with them, right? When we see them. That was the kind of crush I had on him. A love at first sight, if you will. And, things happen. We had a 6-7 month old relationship. And then I met him in the south of Spain one day to celebrate the ending of our relationship because I was relocating to Canada and very quickly saw him cheating in front of me. And then we got all upset. Someone's shouting, someone's playing, someone's doing this for revenge. And next thing you know, I'm at a police station because he stole all of my money and left me in the middle of Spain with nothing. And I had to discover he was a con artist.
Mm.
So at 18 years old, my Prince Disney movie got shattered into pieces. And I had to deal with the reality, which was there's a lot of liars out there. And we have to defend ourselves, protect ourselves. So when I went to Canada, I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any friends. I started really studying interpersonal communication, power dynamics, and really the arts of lie detection. And this is where I found a business that I was not only passionate about, but I thought a business that can really help anybody feel that confidence and that sense of power and magic that comes with becoming your best version. So here you go.
Wow, it's interesting. I've actually met some women while out in the field, as they would say, that were in that same predicament as you, where they were out with their boyfriend to a foreign city they've never been to before and had an argument for whatever reason. He left and they were just stranded there, no money, and didn't know what to do.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate.
It happens.
Yeah. So like for guys like in today's society nowadays like a lot of my students I get they do things the wrong way and some of that is like from the media they make it seem like like the nice guy, which it's not bad to be a nice guy, it's just certain things is they mess up a little bit, like not having
Yeah.
backbone and not leading women. Like what would you say like some important things you would say?
I think that, the important thing is to notice that everything is about balance and harmony. If If you're a guy who's always trying to be a jerk because you were hurt by someone and woman in your past, I think that's also very unattractive. If you're someone who's always saying yes and okay to everything that she is like or she wants, then also that's boring. So notice in seduction or in life in general, it's all about finding the balance in the middle and really grasping upon it and being in control of your own emotions. What you need to understand about seduction, or what men need to understand about seduction, is that women, okay, that, should I like stop or?
Keep going. Another video.
Oh, I should continue. Okay. Well, the thing that men need to understand is that you guys are attracted to women differently. You are initially attracted very powerfully by someone's looks, appearance, the way they behave in public, more or less, the way they stroke their hair or the way they smell. Whereas women are attracted to the personality and the behavior, the way the man reacts to them, the peaking of emotions. So it's not so much about being nice or not. It's about understanding the foundation of seduction, which is all the biochemical reaction that we all have within ourselves.
Interesting. I left like halfway through it. Sorry about that. Yeah, but I think I got like some of the gist of it. What you were saying, like some of my students think looks matter a lot. Like they think they have to be like a Brad Pitt or a Cristiano Ronaldo type, and then they have a wide awakening when they realize it's really not that important. You know, I always tell them that. I'm sure in your life you've seen like a so-called ugly guy with a beautiful girl. I'm sure we've all seen that time to time. And
Yeah.
certain other things, like just changing their mindset, that it's not all about the looks.
Well, looks are important, right? You can't just be a homeless Trek and just come here and expect someone to really pay attention to you.
True.
But this is where the term becoming your best self is important, because a lot of girls or dating coaches out there, or even men, say you have to be just yourself, bro. Just be yourself. No, it's not. Don't be yourself, please. Be your best self. And there's a complete difference in what that actually is. I mean, a lot of us, we lie to ourselves. Right now, do I look like I am my best self? Honestly, no. That's my answer to you. I'm having a work day at home. I'm in sweatpants. You know, I wouldn't go out and want to hit on my number one crush if I'm not my best self. And that also has to go with the sense of smile. Is my hygiene good? Do I have a cologne or a perfume on? Is my makeup on point if I'm a girl? Is my hair or my facial hair on point if I'm a guy? You know, really look your best self and then feel your best self and treat yourself the best way, because all those together are interconnected and they will allow you to feel the power of love. So resonate on the love vibration, which is higher than the fear vibration, which is the problem for most guys, is they resonate on the fear vibration, and us women can feel that.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, like if someone's like 600 pounds and they have a beard and they just look nasty haircut, then obviously they should work on themselves a little bit. Maybe a diet, or get a different haircut. So yeah, being their best selves possible. But you can only go so far with the looks wise. I mean, you get the gym membership, you cut the hair, you eat healthy,
Right.
you wear a nice suit. Then it's the actual like game, what you say, the techniques, and how you court women that you want to meet, or for a female who wanted to meet a man, you know, vice versa.
Yeah, for sure.
Another thing I wanted to talk about is I don't know if you noticed, but like if you see like on like Tinder, that a lot of girls have like the profile saying like not here for a hookup, like all of them.
Yeah.
It's like the main like thing saying not hookup. Like what's your thought on it? Like for me, I've always said they should put like no one night stand, because if they want to get involved with a guy, sex is going to happen eventually. I think a lot of them mean they don't want to have a one night stand where they never see the guy again. So what's your take on this?
Look, the Tinder community has this negative connotation, if you will, of being a hookup app. Now, when women, you need to understand that everyone has a different language. Even though you're speaking the language English, you're speaking in a different language in the way you describe things. So when women say no hookup, they're basically saying, in other words, hey, I don't want to be taken for granted. I don't want to be used as a sex object, and I don't want to feel this way. So you, as a guy, you have to come in and see, okay, what does that actually mean? You have to read in between the lines. When you know that someone doesn't want to be taken for granted, obviously, I don't know, maybe you can read the book called How to Influence People and Make Friends, or Make Friends and Influence People. Great book. Teaches you in one book how to make someone feel special. And that's really the core foundation of what seduction is. So if you're going to go there and make someone feel like you're using them or taking advantage of them, obviously they're not going to want to talk to you, or they don't want to be around you, because you have no sense of what it is to be a good human being. Look, seduction isn't complicated. Call someone by their name instead of babe or doll, or hey, you're hot. Don't say you're hot. Say something that is actually going to show that you care about her in a different way. So usually bringing an attention to something that is a detail. So one of the best compliments I've gotten in my life is, wow, you really know how to make someone feel like they're alive again. It wasn't about the way I look or the way I smell or how big my ass or my boobs are. It was a compliment that is actually refreshing, that you've never heard before, that is about my personality or the way that I act. So really, I think guys have to take a step back and stop so much comparing, sorry to say so abruptly, but porn life or porn reality to real life, and stop being so obsessed with women sexually. If you want sex, you have to stop being obsessed with sex so much. And women will feel that you're not interested in them in that way, that you respect them, that you call them their name, that you take them out on a date, that you're there on time, that you're being a gentleman essentially without being too much or too needy. And they will get attracted to that persona, that mystery, that lack of neediness for them. And that's what will make them want you or desire you in some sexual manner.
I'm glad you touched on that. Like, one thing I often tell my students is like the hotter women, the 8s to 10s, like the real beautiful women, like to often not give them a basic compliment because they've heard that before. Hey, beautiful. They just ignore that, which would be much better. Would be like an opinion, like saying like just something that was not basic, like every other guy. They would want to do something different. And for a girl that wasn't that attractive, you probably could get away with a compliment, since she may not get complimented that much. So one would have to switch their tactic a little bit. Like for me, when I see the student about to approach a female, I would often tell him not to just come in with something basic, because in this pickup community, there's like 2 ways of approaching a female, like direct with his intentions, or indirect, saying, hey, you know where Starbucks is, or something. Like me, I come up with a third where he would come up, not fully direct, but he would compliment her style or something, and then get progressive from there, which is different for him. They're like, oh, you're beautiful, I want you, compared to, oh, you have a lovely style, I was headed to meet a friend, I had to stop you for a moment, which is direct, but it's not super direct. You know?
Right. It's a situational comment, and that's why you're getting away with it. It's when you comment on something that's situational. The difference between I like your style and you look beautiful is as you said, directed to her. So you're noticing something and looking straight into her eyes. Yeah. So there is this tension that is created that you need to release with comic release, usually, is what we follow. That's why they created the nag, is because it doesn't allow the person to focus so much on them being so pretty, right? There's a tension release. But the close, you're oh, hey, I noticed this on you. So there's that impromptu, improvised, spontaneous compliment, and that's also releasing the tension as you're saying it. So this is the only difference between those 2 compliments. But I would have to disagree with you with complimenting the 8s and 10s, or the 8, 9, 10s, something really detailed, or in complimenting the so-called ugly woman with something basic. I think that you as a human being, you should take a look at yourself at that point in time and tell yourself, what is my intention here? Is it to say ABC because I want to impress somebody in order to get in her pants? Or am I saying this because I have actually good intentions? I mean, don't objectify women. And I think that's something that is wrong that you're doing. And something that's wrong in the pickup community is we objectify people and we kind of take advantage of them. No, don't be that kind of person. What I want men to realize is they can be still good human being, still be honest about their intentions, whatever it is. And you don't have to actually put your own value down and be with someone that you are not attracted to. If you are being with someone because you're not attracted to them just because you want to sleep with them, quite honestly, that's quite disgusting for in a human being that respects themselves and others.
Yeah, to expand more on what I was saying, basically, like a woman that was not not the most beautiful. I'm not gonna say ugly, just not the most beautiful, average, and a guy would be more likely to get away with a compliment on her. It doesn't have to be super direct, just a regular compliment versus a model's so-called 10 at a nightclub. She may just straight up ignore that compliment of beautiful or something along the lines of that, something basic. So not really objectifying, just saying that he would be able to get away with a compliment on the not that attractive woman because she may not get it that much compliments, so it'd be refreshing to hear it. Because compliments are nice for women to hear, just they don't want it so like
You
forward.
want it to be authentic. You want it to be
Yeah.
authentic, right? So you wouldn't tell two different women that one is blonde and pale and thin and lean, let's say, and another that is curvy, brunette, curly hair, big eyes. You're not going to say to both women, you're beautiful. My point is you're going to compliment them differently because they are completely different people. The average guy's mistake is to say you're beautiful. The extraordinary person goes there to the brunette and says, wow, your exotic look, those big eyes, that curly hair really makes you look fantastic. You look amazing today. So see, there's an attention to the detail that you don't have to objectify them and put them in the generalized category where you're like, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful. And
Yeah.
you go to the blonde and you're like, your pale skin, it has such creamy, luxurious beauty. I really love it. It has a completely different style from the brunette, right? So it's that detailed, authentic comment that's going to make you stand out from the hundreds of thousands of people that are complimenting day in, day out, right?
Like to expand more on that, basically something specific to the female that the guy is approaching.
Hey, yeah, you got it.
He's
You
like,
got it.
"Whoa, you're a tall Scandinavian beauty
Eh,
with blueberry eyes," and then he approaches a mixed woman. He may, "Whoa, you're very exotic. I can't put my finger on what you could be," something like that. So specific,
yeah,
and then she hears
specific.
that, like, "Whoa, he couldn't say that to the other girls. I'm the only one who looks like this." He really went into detail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how you make someone feel special. See, we're always coming back to that notion of making someone feel special. And how do you do that? You take away the generalities.
Yeah, you make it special, so it's not something that happens all the time. So
For
it's
sure.
not something basic. We all like to feel special and like not like everyone else, so it's good that way.
For
So
sure, for sure.
so another thing, what do you see like guys like some common mistakes you see guys do on say the first date?
First date is they're usually thinking so much about impressing someone. Um, I always say to my clients, number one rule is if you want to impress anybody, start by impressing yourself. Because the number one mistake comes from a place of neediness. Okay, you go on a date, you're trying to do so well, say the right things, that's gonna say the right questions. Some guys, like, they freak out also because they don't know what to say. They have these moments of silences. It's okay to have moments of silences. It's not the end of the world. If you're silent and she has nothing to say and you have nothing to say, just reach out for her hand across the table and be like, so let's have a moment of silence while we stare into each other's eyes. And what you do here is you're creating a playful bubble, an atmosphere where she can be comfortable with the silences, comfortable with you being different, comfortable with the situation where you two are together for that moment. And also, a thing that helps with that is putting your phone away. I see a lot of guys on first dates that are always answering their phone, or their phone is ringing, or they're busy. Okay, we get we are busy or whatever, you have friends. But you don't need to bring that with you on the first date. You want to really be connected with someone in the moment, in the now.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. To touch more on that silence. A lot of the new clients that I get are just terrified of silence. They feel like they have to fill every gap of a conversation, where it's always like a wide awakening for them when they realize you don't have to talk every single second. She can talk too, making her invest. And silence is good. It builds the tension. You know, like that moment where two people stare in each other's eyes and they don't say anything and they just let it build, which could be messed up if he just started talking, which just messed that
Mm-hmm.
whole moment up. And the thing with the phone, I always tell them to just keep it away, like keep it in their pocket. You get a text, excuse yourself. But if the female was the one being rude or using her phone lots on the date, then I would tell them basically to do the same as her or call her out on it. Being like, my phone's
Yeah,
away, you're texting, this is supposed to be our time, like, what's going on here?
but do it in a playful manner. We
Yeah,
never want to bring negative energy to the table, always in a positive way.
yeah, of course he went and said, like, whoa, the hell is this? Put your phone away, what's going on here? He
Yeah, exactly. That's
playful way
bad.
being
That's
like, I don't have my phone up, I mean,
yeah, yeah,
and a little
for
smirk on
sure.
the face, saying things with a smirk, even if
Yeah.
something's a little rude, a smirk will make it playful.
Yeah, or something. It's a tone. It's really the smirk, the tone, the whole how you say something instead of what you are saying, for sure.
Yeah, like the thing with flirting, how a little joke at the end of it would let go that tension of someone giving like a very direct comment, give that little
Yeah,
joke, and then haha, they both laugh, tension's gone, then they go on to the next topic.
for sure. You got it. Yeah.
Now another problem I see with some of the guy clients is fear of like touching, like as they say kino, like touching a woman, like they don't know where to touch her. Or some guy, they just don't touch the girl at all. Think women just don't want to be touched. I see them on a date, hands in his pocket the whole time. He never touched her at all. And then he texts her and then he tells me, he's like, Cassidy, she's saying she doesn't feel anything for me. She's saying we're just like friends. I'm like, did you touch her? Well, no. I'm like, well, you got to touch her at some point. So little things like that, I see very a lot, with the Kino. Like, what would you say to a guy that's scared to touch a female? Like,
Well, my coaching actually involves a custom program where at the beginning we focus each week on one part of elaborating the build of rapport. So one of my things that I say to my clients is on the first date or on the first interaction, you want to see, number one, kind of test the waters and see how close someone feels to you or how comfortable they feel to you. So let's say you meet someone at a social event, okay, and you want to take the date from there and maybe bring them onto a first date. You're gonna give them a handshake when you first meet them. Depending on the handshake, a handshake can tell us so much. It's absolutely mind-blowing. When I first discovered this, I was so passionate about it. A handshake can tell you how confident someone is, how insecure they are as well, if they're shy with you, if they're comfortable with you. So from that 2-3 second handshake, you can really, in your mind, tell, okay, so I need to play my cards like this. If they're a confident person, you will play your cards differently than if they were a shy person or they didn't feel so comfortable with you. So notice every single time when you're trying to do something with the touch, you're trying to see what's the person's response and how can I proceed after that. So let's say I want to get someone to a private space where I can be intimate with them or talk to them intimately. after I first meet them. I would talk to them, build rapport, small talk here and there, and then maybe touch them another time on their shoulder. I'll be like, hey, Sam, wouldn't you like for us to go in the room next door? I have something that I'd like to talk to you intimately about. So depending on how I touch them there, and I see if they stay still, or if they go back for a second, or they look at it, those physical cues can actually allow me to read what they're thinking in their mind. Because I want to remind your audience that 93% of communication is nonverbal, so you always have to pay attention to the focal tonality reactions. And then if obviously the person's going back, it means they're not quite comfortable with you. So you want to stay away from the touching a bit during that while you build that comfort with them on an intellectual, mental, or emotional level while you vocalize yourself to them. Or if you feel like they're comfortable, they didn't move at all, they didn't even look at it, then you know that you've already reached that comfort level, and you can go maybe and sit down next to them and hold their hand or move a bit closer to them. So there's also the idea of proximity. Proximity is how close you are to a person. So subconsciously speaking, we all operate in different levels where we consider someone to be in our space or outside of our space. So there's so many things that come into play, right? The master in seduction or attraction would understand those things, and it would happen on an instant, natural level where you can really tell if someone's comfortable or not, or what are your cards. But someone who's still at the beginning and doesn't have that much experience, I think they have to raise their awareness first and then learn from the expert, someone who's already comfortable with that, how to operate then and how to proceed.
That's great. Like to expand more on that, like one of the greatest things in this like field is something called calibration. Like anything the person does, they have the right response to the action that happens. Like say he walks up to the girl and immediately she steps back. Immediately. She gives a little something like that. So just that little moment he would know to calibrate, to react accordingly. He would change his body position sideways. He may not get that close to her. He may tell more jokes to make her more comfortable. Versus sometimes when people meet each other, right off the bat they like each other. Big high five, the person holds the hand. Like that's one big thing that I found out about, like the high five, like two people.
Yeah.
Just someone holding the hand longer than just or someone doing this, meaning they're not that comfortable. Pretending they're holding it, and what you said about the handshake, like you can learn a lot about that, the way they hold the hand, things like that. And another thing that I would tell like some of my guy students is, like as you know in Europe and through South America, people would say hi, like kisses on the cheek. And sometimes I would have the male students do that when they're meeting a female, and then if the female liked them, she would be, oh, very European of you. And depending how it would, the female he does it to, it would be, she'd be very receptive to it, move her cheek in a little bit more, and if she wasn't, she may be a little like, whoa, oh, we shake hands here. And that's where the calibration would come in handy. Like, oh, that's how I do it where I'm from. Oh, okay, a high five.
You want to always again, you want to always speak the language of whoever you're approaching. So that European example that you gave, the 2 kisses on the cheeks, I'm French, so when I first came to Canada, I did that to someone that I just met who was my neighbor when I first moved in. And he freaked out because he saw me getting close to his face about to kiss him. He's like, what the fuck is she doing? The stranger that just said hello to me 2 seconds ago. So again, you want to always, as you said, calibrate to the person that's talking to you. You don't want to go and be all European to someone who's English, who's American, but you want to give them a hug. You know what I mean? And as an example, someone who, if you have a business card, let me just give me a second. If you have a business card and you're a businessman and you're going to an event and you're meeting someone Asian, you would give them the card like this with 2 hands. So that also shows a part of how to respect someone. If you give it with 1 hand, it's a completely different message. So again, part of seduction is being open-minded enough to learn about other cultures, because you, as someone who has that knowledge and expertise, you can adjust them to different cultures, and you can make someone feel closer to you by simply giving them the card with 2 hands instead of 1, because you show them that you're aware of their culture And because people have this relatability notion where they need to relate to someone in order to feel close, that is a way that you can use it to be close to someone. So it's really magic. I love this topic. Great topic, my dear. Great topic.
Yeah, like that time you said about the that Canadian guy. I had times like that too. Like here in New York, a lot of the girls are very like they go to work, not too touchy feely. I remember meeting one female where I did the European thing, and then she thought I was trying to kiss her on the second one, and she was like, "Whoa, buddy, a little faster," and I was like, "Oh, see, I know what's going on here. See, you
Yeah.
think the New York people, there's a world outside of this. Some people kiss both cheeks, and she's like, "Oh, I know you're trying to kiss me." No, we just mad. You have to get me drunk for that.
Okay, so you had a good comeback for her. That's great.
So
Yeah.
a little calibration, a little joke to take away the tension, and then back to the conversation at hand. Now, a lot of students I get is when they go into the club, they just don't know what to do. They're very confused. They be like, Cassidy, I don't want to dance. The music is too loud. I can't hear anything. I don't like this. And then some, they don't do any dancing. They just will try to take a girl into a little private area and just talk to her there. Like, what would you tell a guy going into like a club for the first time who's like, I don't want to dance. The music's too loud. I don't want to yell at people.
Yeah, I would say don't go to a club. Literally, the club is the worst place where you can pick up someone for quality relationship. I don't know about your clients, but my clients, they're established people that want a genuine relationship. So I never ever. I never tell any of my clients to go to clubs. I actually advise them to not go to clubs because deep down what they're telling you when they say, I don't like the loud music or I don't know what to do, I don't feel comfortable, is they cannot thrive in this kind of environment. So you always have two kinds of environments, right? You have an environment that allows someone to survive, and that's what they're resonating on, the vibration of fear. And you have an environment that allows someone to thrive, and that is really what I try to look when I first meet my clients is what kind of personality do they have? Are they, 30 years old and plus? So do they really need to be at a club? Because is that the place that they really connect with? Or are they going to go to somewhere more established, like a lounge, which really, really, really allows you to make much more in-depth connections. And also you don't have that physical barrier where you have the music and people pushing you, and also the mentality of the people in the club is completely different from people in the lounge. So I would say to someone like this, find an event that is appropriate for you. If you really want to push them to go dance, go put them in a salsa class. I found wonderful results by putting one man in a salsa class because he had all these women that he could dance with, that he can build a connection with, and they actually wanted to dance with him. So it's not like he has to chase them or beg for approval or validation. They are actually the ones coming to him. So you always want to find an environment that allows you to thrive.
Great. Like for me, like whenever I meet the guy, like size them up, and I would always tell them they don't need to do every type of game. They don't have to be a master at the club, the day game, the lounge game. Like I'm a coach, so I've made it my duty to know everything. But them, they don't have to. They could just be great at meeting women in a park where it's very calm and
Yeah.
relaxed, versus a nightclub where it's high energy, people are drunk. And I also give them like a disclaimer for certain things, like when it comes to the club, that they're more likely to get like a one night stand, that it would most likely be harder to find like a quality girlfriend from some wild nightclub. It'll be pretty harder. It's still possible, but it'll be quite harder. All that energy, she may be tipsy and she
Yeah.
wakes up, may not even remember him. There's a lot of things at hand, but it's still possible though.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let me see what time it is. It's 33 minutes. Start wrapping this up with like closing thoughts. So, like, what would you say is like the biggest thing that a guy should do to start changing himself to meeting women? Like the best steps you can take for. I mean, there are a lot of steps, but like the best steps to in that direction.
I think that a lot of people today, um, they want a certain results, but they don't really put in the work to get there. And the number one thing that I always think is important for men to do when they're ready for that change is to let go of the things that are no longer serving them, number one, and to actually put in the work on a daily basis to the things that you want to have you serve you. So I'll give you a very basic example. Someone's has self-esteem issue because he's a bit overweight, or he has love handles or whatever. He doesn't have a six-pack. He's like, I want to attract a 10 out of 10. Great. You are looking at a physical attribute, a 10 out of 10. You want someone who's a top model physically speaking. Great. Now, because you're putting yourself in that reality where you are attracted to something that's superficial, physical, you got to be a match for that person. So you got to put yourself in the best physical form that is available to you. And that comes in with cutting out the wrong foods, the junk food. That comes with you working every single day and maybe taking a couple of days off to recover. That comes with building the right mentality to adapt and be part of that frequency that I'm always talking about, the higher frequency. So a lot of people want extraordinary things, but they're not willing to be extraordinary themselves. So my advice to you is to take a big reality check, a look on your life and see if what you truly want in your life is possible, number one. And if you really want it, how can you make yourself a value that is matching what you desire? Those are my words.
One thing I always tell guys is like the greatest threat to them meeting women or anything in life is themselves. They're like the biggest hindrance. Like all that negativity, all that internal. Because I always found the external, fixing certain things gaming wise, was pretty easy. Just helping little tactics. But the hardest one was changing the inner beliefs. If the guy really hated himself, he didn't love himself. Like one of the greatest quotes is like, how would anyone love them if they didn't love themselves?
For sure. For sure. That's what I always say as well. For sure.
Yeah, because for me, like any student that I have, like if he loves himself, he dresses well to the best that he can, even if he's like a 6 and looks wise, aesthetically. If he dresses his best and wears the best haircut he can, learns some new things, wears a nice suit, and really believes in himself and has a great job. For him, it'd be pretty easy. He just have to fix some little tactics in his game versus the other guy where just he hated himself, he dressed just bad, but he knew game, but internally he just didn't like himself. That guy would be much harder to work with because him it's deeper, it's internal, and women could sense it when they meet a guy like that he just wasn't there yet. He didn't really like himself. He wasn't ready. So how would she ever be ready, And so something like that,
Everything starts from within, for sure. People have to realize that they are in control of everything that happens. You can't just blame the world for the things that are not going well for you. For sure.
Yes, comes from within. All right, so wrapping this podcast up, tell the audience how they could reach you and about your launch coming up.
Sweet. Okay. You can reach me anywhere online. So we're talking about Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Just type in the words Layan Bubbly, Layan space Bubbly, Bubbly. You can also go onto my website, www.layanbubbly.com, if you're interested in one-on-one coaching sessions or online dating profile reviews and optimization. And we have the 1-year coaching program that I have been spending so much time putting together, as you can see. It's coming to life this weekend. So I'm putting together a webinar where you guys can tune in and really see what is going to be included in that coaching program, and you can learn all the secrets that the experts have gathered for you, that will really play the tricks with getting beautiful quality women. So here you go. Thanks so much for that podcast. That was very interesting. Can you send me the files? I'd love to share it with my audience as well.
Yes, I think people will get a lot out of this. We touched a lot of different topics, and they could be very enlightful for others. And people that seeing this, they know how to find me. Cassidy Sinatra Immersion, and all the things that are attached with that. It's a pleasure working with you. About to end this. Good day.
You too, Cassidy.